Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lori. Tonight, August 23rd, I wanted to do a live on the current energies that we are moving through. I'm going to wait a few minutes to just let some people pop on. Hi, Yogi Joe. So I'm going to wait a few minutes or a minute and just let some people pop on. Give it some time before I begin to talk and share. So today or tonight, I wanted to share a personal experience that I've been going through. Hello, Amrita. Welcome. I'm just waiting a few minutes for people to jump in and connect as I begin to share about the current energies. Hi, Leslie, Victor, Shirley. Hi, Robbie. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to be connected. Just going to wait a few minutes while everybody comes on. Say hello. Hello, hello. Yay. We're together. Hi, everyone. Hello, lovely lady, Layla. So there's so much I've been wanting to share with you guys, and I've been wanting to come on live and share it, but I've been going through my own sort of healing and clearing the last 5 days. So I wanted to be completely out of it before I come in and share with you. And remind you all that you're amazing and courageous. And man, this human earth journey is pretty spectacular and can really rattle you. So I've been wanting to kind of come on and hold your hands while you may be going through what I was going through, but I had to allow myself to go through it first. So let's begin. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I wanted to share about the current energies that I'm feeling, and I'm just going to make an assumption that others are feeling it. And I wanted to talk about feeling and feeling, and then feeling again, and what's happening as we are moving through this ascension process. So as we all know, since we're all conscious ascending beings, there's always new things that we're learning. There's always new understandings. There's always the next door that we're opening. Oh shit, I thought I had it figured out. Oh, I don't. There's more to learn. There's more to remember. There's more to access. There's more to clear. There's more to feel. There's more, right? There's always more. And so one of the things I want to share first about what we're all going through, or a lot of us, I should say. First of all, being a human being, you are in a third dimensional ocean, okay? We can't swim out of this density and this consciousness, okay? Even if your physical form is anchored into a fourth dimensional field, you're still swimming in this consciousness. And sometimes, especially the conscious ascended beings, the ones that are consciously ascending, because we know that there's other dimensions out there, we've tapped into higher frequencies. We know that there is I'm not going to say a destination, but there is a journey, right? We are moving towards something. And because of that, it can be difficult to stay present, right? And it can be difficult to not only stay present, but to be in what is showing up, which may not be the higher frequencies, which may not be 5D consciousness, which may not be unity consciousness. It may not be heart-centered, right? But because we know there's this other consciousness to tap into, because we've tapped into it, because we're on this damn journey, When we are presented with that which is not where we think we're going, it can be very challenging to stay in the presence of what's coming up, right? There's a fine line between staying present, which is where all the magic happens, it's where all the shifting happens, it's where all the activations happen, it's where all the clearing and purging happens, it's where all the shadow work happens. Everything happens in the now moment, right? But what happens to a lot of us, including myself, I've noticed myself doing this, and I'm going to share my story in a second. But what happens is we're like, wait a second, this is 3D consciousness. Wait a second, this doesn't feel good. Wait a second, this is lower dimensional, or this is lower frequency. This is a lower consciousness. I shouldn't be feeling this. I need to shift out of this. I need to move myself into something else. When you're in that space, okay, which we all participate in, that's duality. That's playing in 3D consciousness. You wanting to, and it's very normal, so there's nothing wrong with this, okay? But be aware of it, be conscious of it. Because in doing that, you're splitting your moment. You're splitting yourself from the absolute gift of what is in the now, regardless of how you are experiencing it energetically, right? So if there's a depression that comes up, right, you're feeling depression, the human natural reaction is, oh, hell no, I don't like this. I don't want to feel this. This is a lower frequency. This is a lower vibration. I shouldn't be feeling this. I shouldn't be having this. This means blah, 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 right? We put these statements on it. Okay, how do I raise my frequency? How do I get back into that state? Okay, wait a second. How do I positive think or mantra my way, or in that thought process is creating duality. That thought process is saying that what's coming up isn't okay. You're labeling it. I need to be something else. I need to shift into something else that's inside of you. All the higher frequencies are inside of you, right? Heart-centered consciousness inside of you. Love inside of you. Unity inside of you, right? It's all inside of us. But when depression comes up, oh hell no, right? We can't, it's very challenging for us to be in it, but not be it. We split it, and then we're like, well, I'm gonna have to find a higher consciousness to tap into so that I can feel better about myself, right? So that I can feel like I'm not behind or missing the boat, or plain and simple in a lower frequency, right? In a lower frequency. There's nothing freaking wrong with lower frequencies. P.S. We've been living in lower frequencies this entire life journey. And now what we're doing is clearing that lower density, right? Calling it negative, even calling it lower, right, is splitting it into a dualistic realm, lens. And it's hard not to, because you have to kind of talk about it, right? So the way I talk about it is I always try to use the terms lower or higher, and even that is splitting it, right? Even that's like creating some sort of hierarchy. When you guys, all it is energy, right? And it's depending upon the way it vibrates, it creates a reaction to our own energetic field. Depression vibrates low. So when we feel it coming up from within us, we feel that depression, it is not fun because it's a lower frequency. When we are feeling joy, oh my God, do we love that, right? Our energetic field is like, yes. But the beauty about being in this ocean of third dimensional consciousness is beginning to recognize that both of those are just existing, and we're tapping up and feeling it. And just because depression pops up, it doesn't mean that you are not doing something right. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you need to fix something. It means that you are anchoring more light in your physical form, which is pushing the density out. And because you are anchoring more light in your physical form, you are starting to feel more. And when you start to feel more, Your energetic beingness is turning on. It's lighting up. When your energetic field starts to really turn on, which means you start to recognize that you're an energy, that you're energetic, you start to feel more. And when you start to feel more, you think, holy shit, what the hell is all this that I'm feeling? Because a year ago, 2 years ago, you weren't anchoring as much light. The density was just hanging out and chilling. You weren't feeling as much of whatever was moving through the physical form because you weren't anchoring as much light. Ascension is anchoring higher frequencies of light inside your physical form. So, what's the outcome of that, or what is the process of that? You feel more, and the density inside of you rattles and shakes, and you feel it, and it needs to be seen and felt, and then it's moved through. Not the density comes up, we look at it and we say, oh, hell no, right? And we try to move ourselves into a frequency that is considered 5D, 5D consciousness, 5D consciousness. You can be and you are in 5D consciousness while you're in depression. That's the quantum, right? I just did a video on this. You can be angry, sad, frustrated, jealous, insecure, rage, and still be able to tap into a 5D consciousness at the same time, holding both. Holding both. What we like to do is say, yuck to this, doesn't feel good. What if it destroys me? What if it kills me? What if it takes over? What if I lose all control of who I am? What if I can't ever get out of it? I'm going to take control. This is ego. I'm going to take control, and I'm going to fix this problem I'm having, which is these energies I don't like. So I'm going to do these things to make myself move into a 5D consciousness. Well, this density is still here, you guys. This density is still chilling. It ain't going anywhere until we bring our awareness to it and love the hell out of ourselves as we feel it. Love ourselves as we are crying, breaking down, can't get out of bed, angry, rageful that you're here again, rageful that you're in a human form again, angry that things aren't working out the right way. Whatever your beautiful freaking human emotions are, you love them. You love you experiencing them. What we have been programmed to feel or believe is that if I feel these things, I am those things. Not only that, if I feel this, it's going to consume me. I'm going to get lost in it. I am not going to be in control of it. I'm not going to know what to do. How long is it going to last? How bad is it going to get? How am I going to get out of it, right? We like and have been programmed to be in control. The ego needs to be in control. And as most of you guys are aware, as we're shifting in this dimension and consciousness and form, you are becoming aware of the fact that you are having less and less control, so that the higher self can come in and walk you through this process with ease and grace. And when you start to do that, you find yourself in a present moment where whatever comes up is exactly what needs to come up. And whatever comes up is coming up because you're anchoring more light. And this is rattling through, and you have to feel it. You don't be it, meaning you don't jump in and devour it as if it is you. So it's not you, but you feel it. You feel the crap out of it. You feel it so much that it dissolves. I was given this analogy of monks, and when monks were becoming enlightened, right, and learning how to be in an ascended state in physical form, they basically would stay in present moment states, and they would just watch whatever comes up, and they would just love it. It was like, oh, look at what I'm feeling now. Oh, look at what I'm feeling now. Oh, look at what I'm feeling now. That was it. They were never trying to get into 5D consciousness. They were never trying to get into an enlightened state. They were never trying to get out of it. They were never trying to figure it out. They weren't trying to do anything. They just allowed it to bubble up, and they just were like, okay, here we go. How long is this going to last, right? Here's the ride. Here's the roller coaster ride. No judgment or attachment to it. They were not it, right? They were not the emotions and whatever was coming up. Now we are very dense third dimensional humans that have had massive amounts of trauma. Okay. Since the moment you dropped into the physical form inside the womb, you began to consume third dimensional consciousness inside your physical form. And depending upon how intense and dense that consciousness was that you experienced, it either moved through or it stayed inside the physical form. Okay. All humans have some aspects of third dimensional trauma and consciousness that's dense in the physical form. It's impossible not to. I mean, unless you're like Jesus or like an ascended master that was already enlightened when they came in, right? They were already in the ascended state in physical form. They were already holding the higher consciousness. They were never designed to actually ascend. So we all have consumed massive amounts of density, traumas, pains, suffering. That's the human condition. That's what we agreed to. We agreed to that. And so now, and by the way, we designed it. We created that record, the Akashic record, just like we created our eye color and the skin color of our skin. We chose this. We chose the body. We chose where we would live. We chose the humans that would procreate us. We chose everything. And there is infinite possibilities. So there's, as a free will being, yes, you design and create the sort of map for being in 3D consciousness. But when you drop in, my God, good luck. You know, there's a massive amount of opportunity to experience your now moments. And so when you drop in, you are served that which you have agreed to experience. And now we are standing here in this now moment, you guys, and we're clearing it all. And there's nothing wrong with it. And how dare us try to shift out of it before it's cleared? Why? It has to clear. This is part of the process. This is part of the journey. To try to pretend that you don't have density in you, that you don't have emotions you don't like, that you don't have thoughts you don't like, to pretend that you don't have that, or to make it not okay, you're not being honest or authentic or real. Real. We're all healing. We're all clearing. All of us. Depending upon how much light you have already anchored into your form, will dictate how much density is left to clear. But it can take a very long time to clear the density. So I'll give you an example of what I've been going through the past 5 days. And because I'm a teacher in this, right? I'm a teacher in consciousness. I have awareness of this bigger person. Because I'm really connected to my guides, which are higher dimensional light beings. And because I want to teach whatever I'm going through to you guys, I was acutely aware of what I was going through. Okay. So when I was 6 years old, I had a major trauma occur in my life. And it was a trauma that I agreed to. Okay. And this trauma came into my body as a consciousness, and I grew up with this consciousness, and it has a lot to do with my body, right? Body image, body issues, eating disorders, that kinds of stuff, right? Self-worth, self-love, punishing yourself, so many different patterns, right? And I've been aware of this trauma. I don't need to go back to the trauma. I don't need to like heal the actual traumatic event. But the consciousness has been building like a snowman since the day I was 6 years old and experienced it. And so it builds upon itself as I am moving through my years. It gets bigger and bigger, and I live with that consciousness in me. So my patterns, my behaviors, my ways of dealing with my life are created and stemmed a lot from that massive consciousness inside of me, right? I'm very like assertive. I'm in control all the time. I'm a perfectionist. Nobody tells me what to do. I take care of myself. I don't need a man to take care of me. Like all these things, right? Um, a lot of different patterns that I see that were designed and created because of this. You know, my body is everything to me. It means so much. It has to be a certain way. It has to look a certain way. It has to feel a certain way. It's my everything, right? Really? Okay. But that's the trauma. That's the consciousness speaking to me. So for the last couple of years, as I become a teacher of this and learning about this consciousness has been like, hey, guess what? This is it. It's finally time to really purge this. And I'm like, oh shit, this is it. I got it. This is it. Right. And so for the past 6 months, it's been like a up and down roller coaster for me, where it's like I tap into the trauma and I'm like, and when I say I tap into the trauma, you guys, I tap into emotions and behaviors, right? Rage, anger coming out of nowhere, depression, anxiety. um, and you may not even have trauma and you're feeling those things, right? So it's not necessarily about the trauma. It's take this as a generalized concept, the consciousness that's coming up, right? So even if you don't have any trauma, which is great, there may still be consciousnesses that are just popping up out of nowhere, more intense than ever. Again, more intense because you're anchoring more light. So you're feeling more. The consciousness is being pushed, literally forced out of you. So you're feeling it, right? So I've been talking to my guides and I'm like, yes, I'm ready. I am courageous. Let's feel this. Let's do this, and then I'm like into it for a little bit and then I just sort of step out of it, right? I kind of move out of that consciousness and I'm not really consciously healing it. So the other day, it was a Sunday morning, and I had just come back from Mount Shasta finishing my book. I finished the first draft, right? So it was a massive undertaking. And I was on I was on a very high frequency. So I came home and I crashed energetically. And I woke up severely depressed and really exhausted. And I wanted to give up. I literally was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this work. I can't do my book. I can't show up. Like, I was just like, I'm done. And I knew what it was because I'm aware. I'm a teacher. I know what's happening, right? But it was intense. I was massively insecure. I mean, I was the stupidest, dumbest. I had knew nothing. Nobody would want to hear from me. I mean, you want to know how to tap into trauma, you start tapping into things that make absolutely no sense. None. None. It's like, what? Where is this coming from? It's the trauma. The trauma was coming up. The trauma was talking to me. The trauma was showing me what I felt and believed about myself when I was experiencing that at whatever age, right? And so I'm watching this again, I'm feeling it and I'm watching it, okay? I'm feeling it and I'm watching it. That's a key piece to this, you guys. I was an observer and I was feeling it. So here I was feeling these emotions, recognizing that it was that massive trauma pile of consciousness, and I was observing it. The first day it was really challenging because what did I want to do? I wanted to do what a lot of humans did. I want to figure out how to get out of it. Okay, how do I get out of this, you guys? Like, how long is this going to last? And like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to get out of this? What do I need to do to get out of this? Again, I'm watching myself. I'm observing. And I was feeling it though. Every day, every hour, I was in it. I was feeling it. Now, I wasn't the depression. I wasn't the anger, the rage, the insecurity. I wasn't that. I was feeling it. Very different. And the only way you can make that different, that you can differentiate that, is if you are observing. You have to become the observer. Imagine the monk, right? You're observing it, but you have to feel it to let it move through you. So I just did whatever I felt like doing. Now, I am grateful for my life because I have the ability to do that, right? And I was conscious of, okay, well, how am I going to teach this to people that work or that have children, right? And it was like, well, they have to go to work, they have to go to school, they have to do all these responsibilities in the depression, right? So it's the same thing. You just keep doing what you're doing, but you feel it in every moment. You feel it. And maybe there's an hour where you don't feel it, right? But you're aware that there is a density clearing out of you. So you don't try to exit out of it. Like, I'm not going to feel it. I'm not going to let it come in. I'm going to do everything I can to ignore it because it's just going to come back. You might as well devour it now, right? And so first day goes and I'm like, this is hell. I can't explain to you guys. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you know what this feels like, but it was so excruciating. It was so uncomfortable because it wasn't me. And yet I had to feel it. I had to feel the insecurity. I had to feel the rage, the anger. All of these I've felt before, nothing new. But this time it was like an intensity that I hadn't felt before. And I said to myself, I said to my guides, I said, I'm going to take this I'm going to take it by the horns. I'm going to take this now. And I'm going to do everything I can to devour it so that I clear it. I clear it and I heal it. And I'm going to do it with the work of my guides, right? I wasn't going to I wasn't going to step out of it. It's so easy to step out and just try to do something else. So day 2 comes, wake up depressed, wake up not connected, not aligned, sad, angry, insecure, doubtful, like, I mean, you name it. And it was just, it makes me kind of sick. Like, oh my God, those emotions, that consciousness I was feeling. And I just did my day. I did my day. I just did my day. And I laid a lot. And I'm grateful that I have the life to be able to do that. I understand how grateful and how that's a rare opportunity that you can just lay, right? And that's what I did. I laid, I wrote, I loved myself. I loved myself through this. I loved myself as much as I possibly could. And when you're in trauma, when you're in pain, it's hard to love yourself. If you've ever been in it, really been in it, you know how hard it is to love yourself. And so to have people say, oh, just move into love, just move into the heart. Do you know how hard that is when you're in the experience and consciousness of depression? And do you know how courageous it is to feel that and to love yourself as you're feeling it? To love yourself as you're feeling that which you want to scream and get out of, that's courageous. That's being human. That's being multidimensional. That's shifting. That's ascending. That's enlightenment. Not how do I move into something else so that it feels better. Mm-mm. It's very easy to love yourself when you're in a not so crunchy state. Love yourself when you're rageful. Love yourself when you're in anger. Love yourself when you're depressed. Love yourself when you're low. Love yourself when you're triggered. Love yourself when you're sad. Love yourself when you're insecure. Love yourself when you're jealous. That is the gift. That's enlightenment. That's ascension. And to pretend that you don't have these human emotions, that's that's crazy. That's craziness. We're human, for God's sakes. We're in a third dimensional ocean, for God's sakes. You can't escape it. unless you have anchored so much light in your form that you have literally been able to vibrate in a field that no longer hits it. And there's nothing wrong with that. So here I am, day 3. It's never gone this long. So here I am, day 3. I've got a beautiful, amazing support system that I've talked to and that I've been talking to, right? So I use my support system, getting it all out, writing it. And here's something I want to share with you guys. And this has been a game changer for me. On the phone, on your iPhone or your Android phone, whatever you have, right? There is a voice record button where you can record your voice and listen. So it was Tuesday night. So this had been Sunday, Monday. So this was the 3rd night that I have been in this. Now I understand that it's not going to stay. I understand that I'm in flow state, right? So I'm in a now moment throughout my days. Now moment in terms of feeling the emotion. Okay. So you can't always be in a now moment when you have to go do things like, oh, I've got a yoga class at 11. I got to get ready for that, right? You're not always in now moment. Oh, I've got kids to go pick up, or I've got work to go to. I've got, let's get realistic here, right? It's very challenging to be in a now moment and only a now moment in 3D consciousness, but you try as best you can. However, when you are feeling density, consciousness, when you're clearing, purging, healing, you want to be in the now moment with that. That you want to be in a now moment with. Meaning, when it's in front of you, you are in that now moment with it. If it goes away, it goes away for an hour. If it comes in, you're in that now moment with it. Right? You're always trying to be in that now moment with it. So Tuesday night, I get my voice recorder and I hear my higher self say, record a channeled message to yourself. I'd never done this before. So I had written a journaled piece in July about this trauma that I was healing. And so I put the voice record on and I read the journal, right? And when I was done reading the journal to myself, because it was channeled, the journal itself was channeled, but it doesn't matter. It's channeled meaning I wrote it, but something else came through. It's semantics. Don't worry about it. Don't think, oh, I can't channel. I can't write a journal art thing. No, you can just write, right? Write something out to yourself as if you're speaking to yourself, like Lori, 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 you, not I. Because when you're listening to it, it has a much more profound impact when you're talking to yourself. So after I read the journal article, I then channeled a message from my higher self to me. And I was telling myself basically how courageous I am, and that this trauma is finally moving out of my body, and that I can do this and to continue to do this. I've said, put your hands on your heart, right? Breathe into that space and just feel yourself loving you through this. Love yourself through this. You can do this. You can do this, right? And I don't know everything that came through, but when I was over, it was about 20 minutes. And I was told by my guides, listen to this as often as you can until you don't need to anymore. So I went to bed, and as I was laying in bed, before I went to bed, I listened to it. When I woke up in the morning on Wednesday, I listened to it. When I went to the beach Wednesday afternoon, I listened to it. When I went to bed Wednesday night, I listened to it. Thursday, I listened to it. Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, I listened. In my car, I listened. And I'm telling you guys, it's been a life changer. It's a game changer for me. And I'll tell you why. Because when we're going through this and when we're clearing and purging and doing all this stuff, right? We're in it. Yeah, we're observing, but we're in it, right? And yeah, we can hear our guides talking to us sometimes. We can hear the higher self sometimes. But a lot of times when you're in it, it's harder to kind of hear. So when you record your voice talking to you and you hear yourself talking to yourself and reminding yourself of what you're doing, how courageous you are, how amazing you are, how powerful you are, how you're going to do this and why you're doing it, and move into that heart and love the hell out of yourself while you're doing it, it shifts everything. It shifts it. I'm telling you. It's like somebody coming in, it's like a therapist saying, oh, don't forget about this and this and this and this and this, right? And this. And so what I started noticing, what's today, Friday? Yesterday, I started to notice it started to lift, right? Now I know that it's still with me, right? I know that consciousness is still in me. So I'm acutely aware of it still being in me, meaning I'm open and surrendering to whenever it comes up again. I'm ready for it. Let's go. In fact, bring it on faster so I can just continue to clear it out. I'm not thinking to myself, oh, well, that was a doozy. I hope it never comes back, you know? Or, oh, that was a doozy. Now I want to shift into 5D consciousness. I was always in 5D consciousness the last week. Always. I was continually tapping into 5D consciousness. Clearing, purging, and healing has nothing to do with where you are vibrationally. I'll say that again. Healing, purging, and clearing has nothing to do with where you are vibrationally, with where you're anchored, with what frequency you're holding. It has nothing to do with your resonance and your vibration out. It has everything to do with dense consciousness clearing. That's it. It's density and consciousness that you experience as emotions, thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, programs, paradigms that's consciousness in a lower density than the light that's coming in and being anchored into your form, and it needs to move out. It is not creating a frequency or a vibration that you bring out. You're just clearing it. It's just like doing the dishes, right? You're just clearing it out. Your frequency and vibration is fine. It's okay. It's perfect. So a lot of times we'll think, "Oh, I'm in a lower frequency or vibration." That's not good. Be aware of those words we use. Good, bad, higher, lower, you know, negative, positive. Those all hold really positive, really intense charges to them. And then we judge it and we attach to it, right? There's an attachment to it, a judgment that goes onto it. Where if you were to just recognize that your frequency is just fine, your vibration is just fine. I knew, and I continue to know, that when I woke up in that depressed state, when my body said, don't move, be with yourself, feel it all, then I also didn't say to myself, oh shit, I'm in a lower frequency. Oh shit, I'm not ascending. Oh shit, I am holding a lower frequency in my form. Oh, I better shift into higher frequencies. I didn't say that. I said, how the fuck do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this, right? And then it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I got to settle into this. But never once did I think to myself, oh, I'm not a high vibrational being. You're a high vibrational being. If you're consciously ascending, you're a high vibrational being compared to the rest of the collective on the earth plane. Don't worry. You're just clearing. And you're tapping into it and clearing it out of the physicality. You're tapping into it and clearing it out of the physicality. It's not impacting your frequency and vibration in terms of who you are as a being as a being in physical form and how you relate to the world. The more that we can devour and accept and honor the density, emotions, thoughts that are vibrating in a lower frequency that don't feel good, the more we can honor those and allow them to just be. It's almost like we again, duality, right? We honor people or um oh, sorry. This is popping into my little moderator is telling me that this is tapping into the microphone. I have a moderator on here, Yogi Joe, and then he texts me. We'll take it off. Okay, but the point, what I was saying was, if we honor, if we can honor the frequencies that are vibrating lower that come up, just as much as we honor the higher frequencies, right? So we look at somebody and we're like, oh, they're so advanced. They're in such a high frequency. They're feeling unity consciousness all the time and gratitude all the time and heart-centered consciousness all the time, and they're always in this neutral state, and you look at that and then you're comparing it to yourself, right? And you're like, well, shit, I'm not there. I don't do that. I need to get there. Don't ever compare yourself to someone else, ever. You don't know what they're experiencing. You don't know what they're telling you. You don't know how authentic they are. You don't know their truths. You don't know what they're feeling, right? If we could look at people that were going through massive crap and healing and like purging, and we were like, yes, that's a human ascending. Holy cow, congratulations. I want to be like that. Why are we not like that? Why are we so, the reason why is because we're programmed to. But we always look at the humans that are like, oh my God, they're so advanced. They're in that high frequency state. They're in that love centered unity consciousness, love, love, love all the time, right? Peace, joy, all those beautiful things. I'm going to tell you right now, you're still in a third dimensional consciousness. It's impossible to hold that all the time. It's impossible to feel that all the time. It's impossible. And there's nothing wrong with not feeling it. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with feeling rage, anger, any of that for the moment that you're feeling it. Now, do you want to go and live your life in anger and rage? No, of course not. You're an ascended human. You're not going to. You already know that. You're not going to. You're not going to. You're just going to feel what comes up and say, oh, look what came up today. Oh, okay, off to the next thing, off to the races. What's coming up next? Oh, look what's coming up next. Okay, off to the races. You know how fast you would clear? You know how fast you would clear if you just did that? Why do you think monks went into the mountains to do this? Because they could just clear really fast. It was like, clear, 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 clear. See it come up, clear it. See it come up, clear it. See it come up, raise the vibration, raise the vibration, raise the vibration. Remember, this is how physics works. Physics, ascension is just physics. It's just energy. It's just physics. It's very natural. Okay? When you bring in more light and you anchor more light, that which is not holding that same frequency can't stay in the body. It has to move out. The moving out process is you feeling the crap that is being pushed out. You're aware of it, you're feeling it, you're seeing it, and then it comes out, pushes out. And then you shift. And then you hold more light. And then you purge out the rest of the consciousness that isn't in that frequency. And then you shift again. And then you purge out the consciousness that isn't in that frequency. And then you shift again, right? It's a constant shifting, purging, shifting, purging. The more you shift into higher frequencies, that whatever consciousness is in there that isn't in that frequency purges out, purges out, purges out. And the whammy is that you're in the ocean of 3D consciousness. So you are always, always bumping up against 3D consciousness as you're shifting, as you're clearing. Always. You can't escape 3D consciousness. You can't escape the 3D reality right now. Now, the great thing about shifting is as you hold more light, as you let that trauma, shadow work, whatever you want to call it, healing, purging happen, as you hold more light, anchor more light, the way you respond, the way you react to that 3D consciousness is different, right? I'll give you an example. So and you already have these examples because there's days where you're in a higher, you can feel that you're holding more light that day, right? So you're vibrating a little bit higher. And when you go out in the day, nothing bothers you, right? Somebody could say something that doesn't bother you. Somebody could cut you off and it's like, whatever, right? You're really tapped into those higher frequencies. You're really tapping into and being that higher frequency, right? And those are great days. Those are days that we want all the time, and we will have those all the time. You are feeling a higher frequency in your form as you are tapping into the 3D consciousness, the guy that flips you off, right? The person that yells at you because you didn't get in line fast enough, the whatever, you name it, the person, your teacher getting upset with you because of something, or your partner getting upset with you, or having an argument with somebody wants to have an argument with you and you're like, I'm not engaging in that. That's crazy. I don't even understand, right? Then there are the days, right, where you're not in such a high frequency for whatever reason, because you're a human trying to shift and ascend and anchor into higher frequencies, right? It goes like this. And when you go out, you're in a little bit lower frequency, right? Because you're most likely purging density. So the frequency slows down as you're purging so that you can attach to it and purge it out. And so when you go out into the world, what happens? That same person that flipped you off, you get angry at, right? You flip them back, right? Or somebody cuts you off, and because you're in a little bit lower frequency, you want to go and cut that person off, right? Or you're yelling at somebody in the grocery store. I don't know, right? But your response to the 3D consciousness is different. So this is the human. It's quite humorous. This is the human just learning its own vibration and how to be in this consciousness. And eventually, what happens as we continue to bring in more light, anchor more light, and have the courage to feel the shit we don't want to feel purge through us? What ends up happening is we begin to anchor more light, more light, more light, purge, purge. And the more light you are able to hold, you begin to anchor into a higher dimensional field. And when you have really anchored into a higher dimensional field, then you are in that state all the time, right? So every day you go out, you're in that same state, which is, I don't care if anyone flips me off. I don't care what anyone does. You don't have that same reaction. If somebody wants to argue with you, you don't argue back. You are in a higher frequency 24/7, because you have been able to anchor down into that frequency and clear out all the density that was not allowing you to anchor into that, right? That takes a long time. And many of us are doing this. We're getting there. We're moving in that direction, right? But the process is natural. It's one day you feel this, one day you feel this. To try to feel this all the time is denying the natural process of ascension. Don't deny the natural process of ascension. Don't deny it. You're not in charge. You're not the rule maker. It's physics and energy that's the rule maker. It's consciousness that's the rule maker, right? So don't try to make the rules. Don't try to be in charge and take over, because all that's going to do is make it a lot longer for you. Meaning you are fighting against the system, so to speak, right? You're fighting against the system. So as we're moving through these energies, you guys, and there's always a new energy in every now moment, right? What are the current energies now? What are the current energies now? What are the current energies now? They're always shifting. There's always something new. And depending upon where you are in your own frequency, it's going to feel different. But the point of this entire message is everything is okay. I'm telling you, when I went through this in the last 5 days, and I'm still, allowing myself to just be open to it, I surrendered to it. I threw up my hands, and I knew that I wasn't it. I knew I wasn't it. I knew that what I was happening. I knew what was happening, and I devoured it. I said, "Let's go. Let's do this." And the second I committed to just being in it, the second I threw up my hands and said, "I'm not going to try to do anything with it. I'm not going to try to be anything. I'm not going to make myself feel bad. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to love myself." And I'm not going to try to shift into any other higher frequency or consciousness. I already am love. I already am unity. I already am Christ consciousness. I am those things. They are in me. I don't need to prove it to myself by moving into it. I have the confidence in who I am that if there's a depression that's coming up, that doesn't separate me from love. It doesn't separate me from 5D consciousness. It doesn't separate me from gratitude or unity. It doesn't separate me. This is just coming up as an aspect of my experience on the third dimensional plane that has just as much right to be here as any other higher consciousness I feel inside of me, including Christ consciousness, my I am presence, my higher self, love, joy, any of it. It has just as much right because it's my experience that's begging to be cleared out. And the more we can love ourselves through this, then you're really stepping into an enlightened being, so to speak, right? Love yourself through depression. Love yourself through the most uncomfortable emotions you're feeling. Love yourself through the most uncomfortable insecurity. Love yourself through the moments where you want to get the hell off the earth plane. Right? You're done. Love yourself through the moments where you are in so much heartache, loss, loneliness. Love yourself through those moments. Recognizing that it's moving through you to clear you, to just assist you, right? So you're observing it and you're feeling it. And you're all the other higher consciousnesses that everybody talks about. You already are it. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't even need to tap into it. You just need to allow what's coming up to be felt and that you're safe to feel it. 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 And you don't need to control it anymore. We're learning to let go of control. We don't have to control our emotions. How many of us grew up with the programming of you have to control your emotions, control your sadness, control your crying, control your emotions. And that's the opposite of what emotions and consciousness is designed to do. It's designed to just move, not be in control of it. Just let it be. What's coming up now? Oh, this. Okay, great. Thank you. What's coming up now? Oh, this. Okay, thank you. The more we practice this, the easier it becomes. The more we practice it, the easier it becomes. Okay. So anyway, where am I now? I came on. I where I am right now is deeply, deeply loving myself through whatever I see, feel, hear, experience, need, want, do, any of it. And I know that if that consciousness is appearing again, right? I feel like what's happening now, you guys, is that I'm like consciously just like walking with that consciousness that's clearing out of me, that density. And it's like, okay, I don't feel it intensely. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on here with you guys. I'd still be processing it. So I'm not feeling it as intense, but I'm totally open for it to come in again. Bring it on. I don't care. Right? There's a freedom in that. When you're not afraid to feel, there's a freedom in that. When you're not afraid to let anything come in, there's a freedom in that. When you start splitting it into duality and saying, shit, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that. Then you have a defense mechanism and you try to feel something different. And then you really don't allow it to move through. So, bravo to every single one of us that is courageously letting this density be felt because you're human and there's nothing wrong with it. And the more that we can hear that, the more we will embrace it. Because you're already whole. We already know that. We're light, we're source inside of us. But we are having a very dense, very low vibrational experience. We dropped into some of the most dense consciousness a consciousness can drop into. This was no joke. And to not make anything right or wrong, good or bad, in terms of what you're moving through and feeling, the easier it will be to kind of flow. And when I say easier, I just mean graceful, like flowing, more of a more now moment state. And when you're in that now moment state, you're just floating through it all. You're still navigating the 3D. You're still paying your bills. You're still, arguing with people if you're arguing with people. Maybe there's days where you're not anymore, right? Maybe there's days where you are. I don't know. You get triggered sometimes. Your ego plays louder one day. Higher self plays louder the next. No judgment. It just is. Just remember you're safe to feel it. Whatever's coming up, you're safe to feel it. You're safe to feel it. Let it just be felt. There you go. So if you're going through this, you guys, you're not alone. Sometimes I wish I had like a walkie-talkie and I could just like walkie-talkie everybody else that's going through it and be like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" "Oh my God, I'm not doing well." "Yeah, me neither." We could all just like have this collective walkie-talkie system, and it's all on one channel. That would be so awesome. And then we could just get on the walkie-talkie and everybody would feel better because we'd be like, "Oh, we're not crazy. We're not insane. This is everyone's going through this," or not everyone, but you know what I mean? Like there's a group of us going through this. Yay! Hallelujah. Because if there's anything that I know about myself, you guys, is that I am very connected to higher dimensional consciousnesses. I channel any and every higher dimensional consciousness that wants to come through me. I understand the much larger perspective, and I have been given information that is mind-blowing, right? It's incomprehensible sometimes, and I feel depression, and I get knocked down by depression or sadness or anger or rage or insecurities, whatever it is. That's being human. That's multidimensional. Knowing that I am a light being in physical form, knowing there's a 12th dimensional grid around this entire experiment, knowing that I chose to drop in, knowing that there are higher dimensional consciousnesses participating, loving, and cheering us on, knowing that this physical form is designed by higher dimensional beings, knowing that we're in a quantum field, knowing that the earth has already shifted in 5D, knowing all of that and staying extremely human and feeling everything, right? That that's ascending. That's ascension. And having compassion for yourself as you're going through it and loving yourself. Walkie talkie system. Somebody needs to design that. That'd be awesome. Okay, what kind of questions do we have? Let's answer a couple questions that anybody may have. Hello, hello, hello. I am starting, you guys, I do want to share this with you because I think this is really important. I am starting a online subscription-based community. And I will be starting it, I don't know, maybe in the end of September, beginning of October. And I will be going live 3 to 4 times a month. And it will be a community very much like YouTube, but it will be a contained community. And so there will be a lot of support that we will have, and we can talk about what's going on and what we're going through and what we're not going through and the awesome feelings we're having, the awesome ways that we are shifting and some of the more denser experiences we're having. And I'm going to be doing a live channeling once a month. I'm going to be doing a live mini session. So I'll be offering a free mini session to one of the subscribers once a month. I'll be doing a live Q&A. So I'm really excited about this online community that I'm going to do. And I'll have all the information up when it's ready to launch, but I am looking forward to that because I do know for myself that this whole week I wanted to connect with you guys. This whole week I wanted to talk to you guys. This whole week I was like, I want to share what's going on with me. I want them to know that if they're going through this, they're not alone. I wanted any of you that were going through this to know that you aren't alone. I wanted that so badly. But when you're going through your stuff, when I'm going through my stuff, I have to go through it first before I can come out I have to integrate it before I can share it and teach it. Okay, what questions do we have? Yeah, I'm always doing YouTube videos, Corey, and I'm also doing the live Q&A still. So, okay, let me just try to answer a couple questions. Um, why would be triggering my children so much? Why would I be triggering my children so much? I'm not sure I understand that question. Okay, let's do. Hey, Brady. Hey, Lori, are some people more acutely aware? Hold on, I gotta pause this. Are some people more acutely are some people more acutely aware of the dense energies being cleared, or does it matter where you are in the process? That's a really good question. I think that's a really good question. So it's a tricky question because there are people that won't have this kind of experience as they're ascending, right? They're just not going to. They didn't have their the density that they're clearing may not be as intense, right? Their Akashic record and what they brought down and what they experienced in their life may have not been that quote unquote bad, right? So whatever they're clearing out may just be like, just everyday kind of stuff that may come up. Maybe it comes up once a week. Maybe they don't feel much coming up at all for a month. So it's not that they're not feeling the density. It could just be that they just really didn't consume the amount of density that others did in the intensity in which others did, creating massive traumas, right? Like what I was talking about in clearing is a massive trauma. Um, so there's that aspect of it, right? So what they experienced as a human as they're ascending, they may not have a lot to clear out. Now there is clearing out. So you're going to feel a lot of emotions still, a lot of thoughts, but it may not be as intense, perhaps. There are also humans that are shifting that are not yet ready to feel it all, which is okay. You know, you're going to eventually have to feel it. So if you're consciously ascending, you can't trick yourself. Okay. So if you're consciously ascending, which means you're consciously aware of what's happening, you're going to feel a lot. You're going to feel what comes up, and then you're going to choose to either not feel it or feel it. So, Brady, if you're not feeling a lot of density coming up, it could just be that you don't have a lot of density in you that needs to be cleared out. You would feel it, right? And you would know that you're tricking yourself. So I think there are a lot of people that are consciously ascending that trick themselves. It's like that monkey on your shoulder. I'm not going to feel it. I'm not going to feel it. I'm pretending it's not there. I'm pretending it's not there. I'm pretending it's not there. Right? It's not there. I'm in these higher states. I'm in these higher states. It's not there. It's not there. I'm not feeling that. I'm going to shift out of it. I'm going to shift out of it. I'm going to shift out of it. Right? Eventually, you're going to crack. Eventually, it's going to have to be felt. Right? So the more conscious you are in ascending, the more impossible it is to not feel the density. And so if you're not feeling the density as you are consciously ascending, you either didn't have a lot that really stuck inside of you, which means you didn't have a lot of massive like traumas and those kinds of experiences, or you're fighting the battle and not wanting to dive into it yet. Okay, what else? Okay, they're going so fast, you guys. I'm trying to stop it. Okay, Trisha. Oh, you're talking to somebody. Okay. I was hoping you would do a live. Could you explain karma and how it passed through DNA? Did you watch my live? I mean, I just did a video on this. So weird. I'm uploading it tomorrow. Okay, I was hoping you would do a live. Could you explain karma and how it is passed through DNA and not soul? Karma is not passed through DNA. I get a little confused. Why do we sever energetic cords or pass contracts? Okay, that is a really massively large answer. I literally, was it David? Hold on a second. I'm sorry, you guys. I just want to scroll up for a second. Charlie D. Okay. Charlie, I just did a video on this. I literally did it 2 hours ago. I'm uploading it tonight and it'll be on my YouTube. It'll answer all of that. Karma, there's two types of karma. And I also wrote about this in my book. There's two types of karma. There's the cyclical and reincarnation karma, right? Like whatever you did in a past life, you have to clear in this life or balance out. That's not true. And the other karma is if you do something bad today, it's going to come back to you tomorrow. And that's actually not true as well. Um, but I describe in the video about karma is not passed along in DNA. And the reason it's not passed along is because in every incarnation, you are a clear being of light. And your DNA only holds that which it's designed to hold in the current lifetime you're in. So, from a higher perspective and a higher consciousness, there is no past and there is no future. There is only a now. So, from your higher consciousness, you're not saying, oh, these things happened in my past. And I'm carrying that along in the old DNA, the DNA from this lifetime. So, DNA are light codes. Okay. Light codes, DNA actually isn't light codes. Light codes are held in DNA. DNA are the strands, the carbon, and then there's the physical DNA, which creates the human form. All of that, we decide where we want, how we want to be, what we want to look like, our parents, the Akashic record, we design all of that. We grab the light codes and we drop in. And we drop in and we enter those light codes into the physical DNA of that form. Every life that you live, every physical form is separate and distinct and different. The light codes that you bring in each and every time do not hold any energy or frequency from any other incarnation that you had. It's higher frequency energies that are designed to shift with you. They're designed to hold the multidimensionality of you. They're designed to hold your higher consciousness. So whatever you went through in a past life, in that third dimensional consciousness, remains in that third dimensional consciousness, remains in that dense physical form that passed. It remains in that life. When you start anew, you are starting as that consciousness in a whole new now moment. This now moment only exists in this now moment. And then it begins again and creates something brand new. It's like, oh, I'm going to come back in. It doesn't think, oh, last time I was in, I did this, this, this. It doesn't think that way. Consciousness doesn't think that way. Your soul group doesn't think that way. You just create in the now moment what it is you want to experience in that now moment, in that now lifetime. Karma is a paradigm that was designed and created in a human 3D reality. Karma doesn't exist in higher consciousnesses. So when you come in, you're not bringing in karma of any type because karma doesn't exist in higher frequencies. Watch the video, Charlie, tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. What other questions do we have? So with regards to Dale, with regards to the Amazon and the earth and everything that she's going through, there's a couple of different ways to look at it. And one of the ways as an energetic being is that you can hold a couple different realities, right? So remember, that's a 3D consciousness that we're watching, and we're in a 3D world, so we're going to feel the 3D consciousness, right? So from that perspective, you can always hold, you can always project or hold the Amazon in light, right? Bathe it in light, hold it in light. You can call any sort of, prayers that you want. We're energetic beings, so there's a lot that we can do that can impact that now moment. From a higher perspective, that's not the most popular perspective. From a higher perspective, she's all good. She's okay. It feels painful for us. It feels like she's in pain, but she's already anchored into a 5D consciousness and a 5D field. So what's happening now, it's almost like we are watching something in the past, right? She's actually okay. and she's going to be okay. That's very hard to hold when you're watching this destruction, and that's okay. There is no right or wrong. There's no way that you have to do this or see this, right? So if it's painful and it's challenging and it's hard and it hurts your heart because you're feeling the earth as this vibrational being burned, right? And the beautiful trees, right? How can you not feel that? Just send prayers. Say prayers out loud. Send love, send light. Do everything that you can do as the energetic being you are, and that actually will impact it. It has a massive impact energy. Collective prayers in groups, massive impact, right? On a higher level, she's already okay. But if you can't hold that perspective, by all means, don't try to hold it. You hold what you can hold. Question. Michael, first time in my life I've been happy, loving, and full of creative passion now, month after month. Will this carpet of peace be pulled from us if we are doing the work? No, Michael. So, first of all, awesome. That's amazing. What a gift. Um, No. So you're shifting. You're holding higher frequencies. You're anchoring more light. You're feeling these higher consciousnesses. You're feeling these higher frequencies. And because it's a great example, because you are starting to really anchor it into the form, you're feeling it on a regular basis now, right? You're not having the ups and downs, right? So you're feeling it more consistently. That's how you know if you're anchored, because if you're anchored into it, you won't have the ups and downs that I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about the ups and downs. If I were to give a percentage of my day, of my weeks, right? I'm probably 75% in a awesome sort of space, and then 25% not, right? So what you want to do, Michael, is just be open to whatever comes through. And in those higher frequencies that you're talking about, you will be. It's easier when you're in a high when you're anchored into higher frequencies. It's much easier to allow whatever to come up to just come up. It's not going to pull you down, right? So a lot of times we get scared that if these energies and things come up that we're going to get pulled down, right? And also remember that where I am is different than where other people are. Where I am is not where Michael is. Michael is probably anchored in a higher frequency than me. Perhaps. I don't know. We would have to balance out, put ourselves on like a little a little scale that says, "Oh, you're anchored into this frequency," right? And if there's no judgment around it, it's kind of fun. Like, "Oh my god, what frequency are you anchored in? What frequency are you anchored in?" right? But it sounds like, Michael, you're anchored in a frequency that's pretty high right now, and you're anchored into it because you're feeling it every day. You just don't want to be attached to it, right? Think about the monks. They were never attached to anything that they were experiencing. I'm not attached to anything I'm experiencing. So if anything comes up, I'm allowing it to just come up. I'm not afraid to be pulled down. I'm not afraid to be pulled up, right? You just want to allow whatever it is to just be. It won't pull you down. You just want to experience it though. Like if something comes up, Michael, like if all of a sudden you're feeling anything that is like, ooh, this is low vibration, just latch onto you. It's gonna go. You're welcome, Tim. Tim said, I've just been experiencing what you've just described over the last 10 days. Thank you, Lori, for doing this. Okay, so what other question? Let's see. Let's see. Dory, how can we relax the mind and communicate with the higher self? Is enough the breathing and visualizations? How can we relax the mind and communicate with the higher self? Quiet the mind and communicate. Um, you have the way to listen and hear the higher self, or it's a practice, right? And so the higher self talks just like the ego talks. So you just want to start to get really conscious of what's happening up there, right? And you want to start to just listen to what's going on, listen to the thoughts, listen to what's happening up here, because the higher self, when it filters through, you hear it, you hear the energy, the frequency of higher self through like a voice, right? It comes in through a voice almost. So it's like the ego but in a higher frequency. So If quieting the mind and meditating and slowing down helps you, then do that. But you want to be conscious of what's happening here. You want to listen to what's happening up here. You don't want to quiet everything because the higher self is talking at all times. If you listen to my last live a couple weeks ago, I talked about the experience of watching a higher self try to communicate to the human, right? Go put wood on the fire, go put wood on the stove, go put wood on the stove. And they were not able to hear it because they were in a monkey mind. So you want to be aware, am I in a monkey mind, right? Am I just in this like thought, thinking. What am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing today? What am I doing? What did this person say to me? What did that post say? How many likes did I get? What did my thing, what this, right? So there's like all these things you're thinking about, the grocery store, my children, my family, my loved ones, all these things you're constantly thinking about. You want to be aware of that. You want to get conscious of that. So if you can get conscious of your thoughts and your monkey mind, you can hear the higher self, right? So whatever technique that works best for you to hear the monkey mind, you want to do that. You want to hear the monkey mind because behind the monkey mind is the higher self. It's a soft, quiet voice in the beginning. It's very subtle. It doesn't say a lot. It's direct. And so can you start to get aware of the monkey mind so that you can push the monkey mind up through, like get through the monkey mind, and there's the higher self. My kids seem to be triggered around me, saying I'm crazy, I'm defensive, trying to say let looks for solutions, they just recoil. So if you're moving through things that your children aren't moving through, it may trigger them, it may rub up against them the wrong way. Like their energy and their frequency is different than yours. So there's dissonance happening. Um, and as the parent, you sort of have to, you want to be able to look at it from the observer. So they're just doing their energy, they're just doing their signature, they're just doing them. There's nothing wrong with it, right? They're going to say the things they're going to say, they're going to act the way they're going to act. Now, what you have a choice in is the boundaries that you put around that, right? What you allow yourself to be treated, how you allow yourself to be treated, right? You have to hold boundaries around that. And this goes with any relationship. When you're in relationships with people and they are vibrating in their own signature and it's a different frequency than yours, right? There's going to be dissonance when you're trying to be. And so you have to have the observation and awareness that they're just doing their signature. They're just doing their vibration. They're just doing them. And you're doing you. But you want to honor you. You want to take care of you. You want to make sure that that you're safe. You don't have to be beat up or injured or hurt from words, from physicality, from any sort of abuse, from anything like that, right? So you aren't making them wrong. You are holding boundaries, whether that means stepping away, whether that means literally holding boundaries with your children. This is not okay. This is okay, right? That's those kinds of things. Whether it's you honing back on what you share so that dissonance isn't as strong, right? But you're navigating. We have to navigate frequencies and resonance with people. And the more you are bringing in light and anchoring light and holding higher frequencies, the more you're going to recognize dissonance between resonance, right? You're going to start to recognize I'm resonating with this person. I'm not resonating with this person. I love this person, but I don't resonate with them. That's the doozy, right? I love my parents. I don't resonate with my parents anymore, right? So that's when you hold the boundaries around yourself, right? And there's nothing wrong with boundaries. It doesn't mean that you're not in a unity field or stepping into unity consciousness. Stepping away from relationships sometimes is the best thing for you and them in order to be, and it has nothing to do with unity. Unity is a much larger quantum experience. It's an understanding that we're all in this together, right? Doesn't mean that I have to embrace you and hold you in my field when their resonance isn't feeling so great. Again, part of being in a third dimensional consciousness. Some humans we are not going to want to hang tough with, right? So it's boundaries, and there's no right or wrong. Nobody's right and nobody's wrong. It's a signature, it's a frequency. That's it. Very hard to hold when you're going through it, because there's emotions, there's reactions, there's triggers, there's defense mechanisms, right? It's all part of the human experience. But you want to start to get the awareness of, oh, they're being their signature. Oh, I'm being my signature. Can I take care of myself? And with children, your role is to take care of them. You have to let them be their signature, and you hold boundaries, right? The Syrian activation shouldn't be gone, Russia. You still should have it. Let me email me, and I don't know why it would be gone. You should have like you should have it. You should have access to it. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Fabulous. Question about losing items before you release an energy. Has anyone else experienced this? I don't know what that means. Losing items before you release an energy. I've also had them set off my house alarm. I don't know that question. I don't know that question. Yeah, email me and I'll send it to you. All right. Anything else before I go? Thanks for being here, you guys. Thank you so much. I love you all. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Oh, items come up missing. I don't know. I've never had that. Has anyone else? Items coming up missing? Hey, Steven. Good to see you here. I don't have items missing. I don't know if maybe somebody else has items missing. All right. I think we're done. I think the energy has come to an end. Um, I'll see you guys next time. I'm going live for the live Q&A. So this was just me sharing about the current energies, but my next live Q&A is on Tuesday, the 27th at 4 p.m. Pacific. Tuesday, the 27th at 4 p.m. Pacific. Come, I'll answer more of your questions, all of your questions. Thanks, Brady. You're the bomb. Lots of love to you, Supriya. Angel, thank you. Oh, your Herkimer diamonds. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, don't know. Bye, Yogi Joe. Okay. Love you guys. Be gentle with yourselves. Love yourselves. And I'll have a new video up tomorrow, the 24th. Okay. Take care. Love you. Bye. Thanks for being here.